Hi and welcome again to the South China Morning Post's Racing Podcast. It's Sunday, the 25th of October, and I'm Alan Aitken. And firstly, the news. In Australia yesterday, it was that man again. Bart Cummings did it again in the Cox Plate, with a horse having just his fifth start in a race. So you think, leading all the way for Glen Boss to win Australia's Weight for Age Championship race. And it was a day that will have pleased the Hong Kong Jockey Club for a couple of reasons as well. One is that the top sprinter Apache Cat won on the card there, and trainer Greg Urell confirmed to the Australian media that Apache Cat will bypass a race in Melbourne on the final day of the Melbourne Cup Week Carnival to run instead in the International Sprint Trial next month at Sha Tin. And it would have pleased the Jockey Club for another reason yesterday, that the first ever simulcasting of races on a non-Hong Kong race day had turnover of more than $40 million. So I'm sure that that's going to encourage the club, with 14 more such dates to come during the season. Locally, the news has only been about today's racing, with the return of Horse of the Year Viva Pataca, the previous Horse of the Year, Good Baba, the Derby winner Collection, Thumbs Up. It's just an outstanding bunch of horses lining up in today's Sha Tin Trophy. Good Baba having his first run for Derek Cruz. Derek told us that he was very happy with Good Baba's condition, but having had so little experience of the horse, he really didn't know what to expect today. First up with the big weight, and he said it's very much a wait and see, and he's certainly hoping that Good Baba is going to run well and show everybody that he is back in top form. But his summary of today's task was, it's a big ask. Well, over at John Moore's yard, there's plenty of confidence in Viva Pataca to back up the surprise win last year with another win this year. It's been a subject of debate which way Darren Beedman would jump, Collection or Viva Pataca. In the end, he's gone with the Hong Kong Derby winner of last season, Collection, but I'm sure that Darren will be looking around for Viva Pataca over those final stages if he is in front, because he said there wasn't a struck match between them. And that race is, of course, the race on the front page of today's lift-out guide for Sha Tin. And what a race it is. I've gone for one to knock out all the big names in number 11, Mr Medici. Now, historically, this is a race won by horses down in the weights. That was until last year, when Viva Pataca won with 133 pounds. But I'm assuming that we'll go back to normal today, and Mr Medici, with 116 pounds to carry, is getting an awful lot of weight off the ones up the top. And it's worth bearing in mind that he's had a race this season. He flashed home for second to Fleet Command over 1,400 metres and ran very slick final sectionals there. And he's been a horse who really hasn't put a foot wrong. From 1,400 metres to 2,400 metres, he's just run well in everything since he's been here. And that was his character back in Ireland, where he started racing before his importation. Jockey Challenge time now, and the odds makers certainly weren't giving anything away at the opening prices last night, with Brett Preble 3.5 and 4.0 for Douglas White and Matthew Chadwick. They had the chances pretty well surrounded there, but I've gone for Preble, and I'm hoping that we can get a little bit better price perhaps after the first race. Preble doesn't have a ride in the opening race, but White and Chadwick do. And if they win or register points, certainly you'd expect that Brett Preble's price will drift out a little bit. If there's a value option in the field, well, it might be Derek Leung. Derek Leung's been riding in great form, and even though he doesn't have a standout ride all day, he does have a number of chances to win, and he's at $12 in overnight prices. Best bet, and I've gone to the final race and one of John Moore's yard, a horse who's had 3 starts for Moore, and he's won 2 of them and finished last in the middle one. So I hope we're not working on that kind of pattern today. but Soaring Dragon, race 10, number 10, could not have been more impressive in Class 4 first up. I think he'll make the grade rise to Class 3 pretty comfortably, and he's my best for the day. Race 10, number 10, Soaring Dragon. Well, that's all for this edition of the South China Morning Post Racing Podcast. For anything more on racing in Hong Kong, anything more on what you've heard here, take a look online at www.racing.scmp.com or pick up your copy of the Sunday Morning Post with the Big Lift Out Guide to Sha Tin. I'm Alan Aitken. Good punting.